Welcome, Mr. Mayor.
Sign of things to come, I think.
Yeah, right.
Your dreams are your own.
Whoa, there's the mayor. Mr. Mayor, where are you?
Hello.
I think we're all here, aren't we?
So missing, oh, we are all here. Great, well, it's 7 o'clock. I call the special meeting of the Snoqualmie City Council to order. Will the city clerk please take the roll call?
Councilmember James,
Here.
Councilmember Roche,
Here.
Councilmember Holloway,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mayhew,
Here?
Councilmember Lassay,
Here.
Councilmember Sundwall,
Here.
Councilmember Shepherd,
Here.
Mayor Larson.
I am here.
For everyone's benefit, the mayor is on a very unstable internet line and expects that he may often not be connected to our meeting. And so in his absence, likely absence at various parts of the meeting, he's asked me to step in and run the meeting as the mayor pro tem, which is why I am doing that. For attendees, while this special meeting will be open to public attendance via telephonic and other electronic means, there will be no opportunity for in-person attendance or in-person citizen comments. The agenda includes a potential for an executive session if council members request. There are any requests at this time for an executive session from any of the council members?
Not at this time.
All right, seeing none. Let's see. We have for on tonight's agenda bill 20-088, resolution number 1557, imposing an additional sales and use tax of 0.1% as authorized in RCW 82.14.530. Is there a motion to adopt this?
So moved.
Second.
And let's see, do we need to have the chair of that committee read in the summary statement and make a motion? We do need to have that.
I object to consideration of the motion.
You can do that when we vote.
No.
Hold on.
You may not object to a
Order,
motion.
please. Order, please. Hold on.
This requires a vote. And it requires.
I'm sorry, hold on, please. City attorney?
Or Jody Warren.
or Jody Warren, whichever would like to comment. I'm looking at the motions. I don't see an available motion such as the council member is making. Is there such a motion available?
No motion was made. A motion was made and seconded to approve the resolution.
Actually, we haven't done, actually there was. We haven't read it in yet, but there was a motion in a
Right.
second.
So what's on the floor is the resolution. Councilmember Shepherd objected, but did not make a motion. If a motion was to be made, it would need to be to amend the motion that is on
No.
the floor.
That's not correct.
Councilmember Shepherd, if you have a motion, please so state it.
It does not require a motion. It requires, according to Robert's Rules of Order, it requires a vote.
Councilmember Shepherd, do you have a motion to make at this time?
This is not a motion. This is according to Robert's Rules of Order. If you object to the consideration of a motion, then it does not require a second and it does require a vote.
I don't see such a motion. Sorry, Ms. Shepherd, if you'd please let me run the meeting.
Consideration of a question.
Ms. Shepherd, if you'd please let me run the meeting, I'd appreciate it. City Attorney or Ms.
Object to
Warren,
Point of order.
Mr. Chair,
sorry, there's a point of order. Please state your point.
According to Robert's Rules of Order, there should be an ability to do an objection to consideration of the motion and it needs to go to a vote. It does not require a second.
So I've heard your motion. I'm now consulting with our city attorney and with our with Ms. Warren. Could you please advise Ms. Warren or Mr. Sturbank?
It would take me a moment to get through all of the pages of Robert's Rules, but there is a provision that this council uses on regular occasion, which is to advance a consideration of a question that has been moved and seconded, and that is moved to call the previous question, which requires a second and a 2/3 vote. That motion has not been made. And I'm sorry, excuse me, Councilmember Shepherd, I was addressing the chair.
So Mayor, I saw that you had your hand up. Did you have a comment to make that might assist us?
well, yeah, I mean, it seems to me that the motion is simply to formally, for the record, make an objection on the record. Objection duly noted. I mean, even if everybody voted in favor of the objection.
That's
mean,
not
so I-
correct.
Well, then could you clarify what the objection is? What are you asking that are you asking that the original motion and second be rescinded? I mean, objection is simply an objection. What exactly are you saying?
I'm looking at Robert's Rules of Order, page 267. And it's under paragraph 26, objection to the consideration. And under this Robert's rule, it says that this has to be moved before debate has begun on the motion, does not require a second. This is not debatable. And in order to pass this, it requires approval by 2/3 majority vote.
Mr. Chair, maybe I could clarify it differently. What is the outcome expected or hoped from the objection?
Yeah, Ms. Shepherd, if you could clarify what you're expecting to happen as a result of your vote.
Point of order.
Will the member state his
Sorry, this
point?
is not for
I'm sorry,
debate.
hold on, please.
Well,
Will the member,
So
please hold on, please. Will the member please state the point of order?
I object to the consideration of this.
Councilmember
Sorry,
Shepherd,
I'm sorry,
you
Councilmember
are not
Holloway.
the one who
we-
made the point of order. Please
Councilmember-
respect the proceedings.
Folks, please, let me run the meeting, please. Councilmember Holloway, you raised a point of order. State your point of order, please.
Councilmember Shepherd made a motion. I just point of order. I think the clarification for what the motion, asking for what the outcome is expected of the motion is improper. Based on, she made a motion, which in essence is a motion to table the overall motion. We should, without precedent, because I'm not sure we're fully compliant with Robert's Rules of Order. Without precedent, I recommend we just do a vote on the motion and get on with this because it's taking too much time.
All right, hold on, please. I didn't recognize a point of order from Councilmember Holloway, so there's no point to sustain. I did hear his comments. Mr. Sturbank, did you have some more information for us?
So Councilmember Shepherd's citation is helpful, it would be up to the chair to determine whether or not debate on the main motion had begun. Because once a motion has been made, seconded, and debate begins, it's too late to make this the objection that Councilmember Shepherd is attempting to make. That said, if the chair deems the objection in order to block consideration of the question, a 2/3 majority vote objecting to consideration is required. And so if the chair and the council wish to turn to the merits, such as they are, of the objection, Councilmember Shepherd would require 2/3 of the council to sustain the objection.
So let me make sure I understand. In order so the objection is to consideration of the matter. We would move to a vote if less than 2/3 voted in the affirmative. If less than 2/3 voted in the affirmative, then that objection would not be sustained and we would proceed. Is that correct?
Correct, except the phrasing is the reverse. So according to Robert's rules, a negative vote is a vote sustaining the objection. So you'd be voting no on consideration of the question or yes in favor of it. So it's the opposite to the way that the objection has been.
All right, so members would vote yes if they want to proceed with the agenda, and they would vote no if they do not want to proceed with this item on the agenda. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of moving forward with the agenda, please so indicate.
Aye. Point of question, Chair. Can you restate that again? If I vote yes, I want to proceed. If I vote nay, I do not want to proceed.
That's correct. So the objection has been raised. Okay, so you would vote yes if you want to proceed with the agenda. You would vote no if you want to go with the objection to consideration and not proceed with the agenda.
Thank you, Chair.
So with that point of information answered, sorry, council members, I'll ask you to vote again. Those in favor of proceeding with the agenda, please say aye.
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 Those opposed?
No.
Oh, sorry, and the chair votes aye. The objection was not sustained, and we'll proceed with consideration of the agenda item. So Chair Ross, Chair of the CD Committee, would you please read in the summary statement and make a motion and make the motion for this matter?
Okay.
Before Ross proceeds, can I make a comment? I think I've been kicked out of the meeting. I think I might still be on audio, but I have no video.
We can
Is
see
anybody
you,
else in the
Councilmember
same
Jeans.
circumstance?
We can see and hear you, Bob.
We can see you, Councilmember Jeans, and we can hear you just fine.
Okay, I'll go looking at Zoom and listening intently to the proceedings. Go ahead.
You are looking particularly fine tonight. I compliment you. Councilmember Ross, please proceed.
Okay. Legislation adopted during the 2020 legislative session authorizes a city council to impose an additional sales and use tax of 0.1% for the construction of affordable housing and other purposes when the county in which the city is located has not imposed such a tax prior to September 30th, 2020. King County did not impose this additional sales tax prior to September 30th, which authorizes the Snoqualmie City Council to now do so. Snoqualmie 2032, the Snoqualmie Comprehensive Plan, contains affordable housing targets and related goals, objectives, and policies whose fulfillment would be facilitated by the revenues provided by the additional sales and use tax. Move to adopt Resolution 1557, imposing additional sales and use tax of 0.1% as authorized in RCW 82.14.530.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Councilmember Ross and seconded by Councilmember Sundwall to adopt resolution number 1557, imposing an additional sales and use tax of 0.1% as authorized in RCW 82.14.530. Is there any member of the public who wishes to comment prior to council action? And For those members of the public, sorry, I'm just bringing up a screen so I can see you. You should be able to raise a hand, and then I'll be able to see that you wish to speak, and we can recognize you for 3 minutes to speak on this matter if you wish. So I'll just wait a moment to see if any member of the public wishes to comment. All right, I'm not seeing any member. If you're having difficulty and you figure out how to raise your hand, please go ahead and do so, and then we'll double back to you. But at this point, we're gonna. I don't see any member of the public asking to speak. So we'll go to discussion of the matter. And Councilmember Ross, as chair of the committee, did you want to make any comments in support of your motion?
Point of order.
Yes, Councilmember Sundwall, please state your point.
So I, by no means is this designed to quell public comment. We've now had about 45 to 60 seconds of public comment opportunity to find the magic raise hand button. It would be very unconventional after council debate to accept public comment. And I would encourage us to, if we need to wait another 30 seconds for people to find that, great. But our procedure, since I've been on council, is public comment first, then debate, and not the reverse.
So noted and sustained. Thank you, Councilmember Sundwall. Councilmember Ross, did you wish to make comments in support of your motion?
Yes. So this HB 1590 is a chance for Snoqualmie to impose a 0.1% sales tax and use the funding for affordable housing. That is a requirement, to use it for affordable housing. And King County has not yet imposed theirs, which is supposed to be, they're supposed to have done it by September 30th. They are meeting tomorrow to discuss this and possibly authorize the sales tax. And so we are meeting tonight to hopefully impose the sales tax, because either way, our residents will see a 0.1% sales tax. And this is about $250,000. And if we impose it before the county does, then the funds will stay in Snoqualmie. If we do not impose it and the county does, our residents still see a 0.1% sales tax increase, but the funds will leave the city and the county will be able to use them anywhere they want or they see fit. And most likely it will not be in Snoqualmie. So Community Development Committee, we just met regarding this, regarding HB 1590, and we approved moving this resolution forward to council and recommend approval.
Thank you. Council members, any other council member wish to speak? And council members, if I would just ask, as you all know, this is my first time chairing a meeting of the council, and so please, some grace and assistance from you would be very much, I would very much appreciate. I will ask you all to please adhere to council procedures, including Robert's Rules of Order. And I've got our handy cheat sheet that we got during our training to help me try and give the right comments. So, but please do assist me in trying to keep our debate on track. So sorry, any council members that wish to speak on this matter? Councilmember Jeans.
Point of order.
Sorry, who stated, please state your point.
There are hands raised in the participants panel that were up prior to when you asked that there were other hands in the air. So if you may want to refer to that to know who's raising their hand, that would help.
Oh, thank you very much. If council members will use the raise hand feature, but for now I've recognized Councilmember Jeans. Please proceed, Councilmember Jeans.
Actually, I've had my hand up all the time and it keeps taking my hand down. Sorry about that. So this thing, it sounds like, Catherine, it has a lot of merit and it's been through your committee. So that is a good thing, but I'm not sure that this in the county's hands, it will be a bad thing. But what I'm most concerned about, and the one thing that I'm looking for Bob Sturbank's input on, is the notice for this special meeting was, I'll say Sunday night, so I didn't see it until Monday. So I don't think we have complied. I don't think we have complied with the letter of the law. I'm not even sure we're complying with the spirit of the law, even though there's a chance that if we don't do something, we're not going to have another chance to do it. But an additional comment is the county has not complied with their requirement of getting it done on September 30th. So I'm not sure what the legal significance of them taking action after that would take any legal effect anyway. And we may otherwise have a chance to do it ourselves because the county didn't do it in time. And that I've sort of raised a couple of points, but I'd like to get Bob Sturbank's thoughts on those points.
City Attorney Sturbank, are you able to comment on those points?
Certainly. First, as to the timing of issuance of and posting of special notice of the Snoqualmie City Council member special meeting, which is this evening's meeting is a special meeting. The Open Public Meetings Act requires notice of a special meeting to be posted, delivered or posted as applicable, in this case, posted on our website, at least 24 hours before the time of such meeting as specified in the notice. Tonight's meeting specified in the notice was 7 p.m. That means that notice only needed to be posted 24 hours prior or 7 p.m. Sunday. And the clerk can inform us as to the exact time she did that, but I believe it was early afternoon yesterday. Ample compliance, therefore, with the Open Meetings Act requirement. The county was not under a requirement to act by September 30. However, the way the statute is written, if the county did not act, the county had until September 30th to adopt the tax without any city action. If the county did not enact the tax by September 30, then cities within the county are authorized to do so. So the county's inaction in this case by September 30 is what provides the predicate authority to the city of Snoqualmie and other cities in King County to impose the tax. And then conversely, if this council decides to wait, sorry, let me back up. If this council imposes the tax first, and thereafter the county imposes the tax, then the county tax is required. The county is required to provide a credit for the city of Snoqualmie tax. If you wait until after the county acts, then any tax that this council would impose would be in addition to. And I believe Councilmember Ross, the chair, spoke to that in her opening comments.
Right, and Mr. Sturbank, I'm aware that the county council has this item on their agenda for their committee of the whole for tomorrow. And from the timeline that's attached to that, it appears they're going to move rapidly to implement it. So any opportunity for the city of Snoqualmie to impose this may be as short as 24 hours from now. Is that correct?
That is correct, because the it is on the committee of the whole agenda. It has already received a first reading before the full Metropolitan King County Council, and the full council typically meets every Tuesday at 1 p.m. And so I believe tomorrow that the council will either be sitting simultaneously as the committee of the whole and the full council, or could do so serially, and therefore could vote to impose the tax as early as tomorrow afternoon.
All right, and City Clerk, could you just tell us the time at which this notice was published? Sorry, to be clear, at what time was the notice of tonight's special meeting published?
The notice was published yesterday, Sunday, at 12:23 p.m. well in advance of the 24-hour Open Public Meetings Act requirement.
Great. Councilmember Jeans, does that answer the questions you raised?
Yes, I have some more questions, but I'll come back to me to take care of my people first.
Great, thank you very much. Council members, I am trying to keep got a little listing of all of your names, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm ticking them off, so we try and get a good round robin here of speakers. So next up, Councilmember Shepherd.
Yes, so my concern is, the short notice. I agree with Councilmember Jeans about that. And I think that in the spirit of giving our residents proper notice, reasonable notice, I mean, we may be meeting the minimum legal requirement, but I don't think that it's fair to our residents to have this conversation about it and not give them more time to process it. But on top of that, this potentially could lead into $3 million bond. And I was looking at the communication that they had for King County when they were discussing this, and there's a great amount of information and consideration about the money and how it will be used. And we don't have any of that when we are considering this. I can't imagine this timing to be a reasonable turnaround for any city council. It seems very odd to me that all of a sudden we're in a 911 call for something that could have a consequence of as much as $3 million. I just can't, we just don't have that kind of time to really understand what all the consequences are. In fact, do we have any matching funds that's going to happen for this? What are our reporting requirements? We don't have any information about any of those things.
Chair, point of order. There is no bond issuance before the council tonight.
The point of order is sustained. Councilmember Shepherd, the sole matter in front of the council tonight is whether to levy a tax. And in comparison to the actions that the county council is considering tomorrow, you will have noted that they have two separate actions. One is an action to impose a tax, and actually their item is actually much shorter than ours, much more brief. They have also a separate action regarding the spending of that tax. There's no such matter being brought before us tonight. That would be determined at some future date. City Attorney Sturbank.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just to clarify, the language regarding bond issuance is straight out of the statute and simply reflects that the council is authorized to issue bonds. And the exact language is within the limitations as now existing or hereafter prescribed by the laws of the state, which include, among other things, a requirement for the council to adopt a bond ordinance. There's an official statement that is issued, as council will recall from the last bond issuance, and many other steps. So this section 5 does not by itself issue any bonds, let alone a $3 million bond. It merely reflects the authorization provided in the statute for the council to do so and to pledge a certain amount of the tax revenue, up to 50%, to the repayment of bonds. And I would note that if you compare this resolution to the county's ordinance, the language on issuance of bonds is virtually identical, save for changing the county name to the city and so forth. So
point of order.
Sorry, point of order. Please state your point.
My point is that in our resolution, it actually talks about the possibility of doing a $3 million bond. So I think that it is appropriate for us to be able to discuss it.
Yeah, Mr. Sturbank, please complete your comments.
Sure. There isn't any reference in the bond, resolution to a $3 million bond. There is a brief description in the budget narrative of the staff report that that the revenue anticipated to be generated by this sales and use tax could support a bond issuance of an approximate amount of $3 million. Certain assumptions went into that. If you projected a certain time frame and graduated repayment schedule, it's simply to give the council a picture of the potential yield of this tax and the potential yield of a bond if you use the revenue for debt financing. That's all. There's nothing in the resolution itself about a $3 million bond.
So, Mr. Sherbank, to be certain, just to be clear, nothing in the proposed action tonight would authorize the issuance of a bond, and any issuance of a bond, were it to be proposed in the future, would have to come back before this council for approval. Is that correct?
Correct. With a slightly, this authorizes future issuance of a bond, which has to be done by the council. It's simply indicating the legal parameters around potential future issuance. But
so no bond could be issued as a result of tonight's proposed action without some further action by this council. Is that
that's
correct?
correct. It's necessary but not sufficient language.
All right. And members, please, if you're going to make a point of order, please ensure that you're actually making a point of order, not an argument, or I will rule against your point of order. Councilmember Shepherd, you had a point of order?
Chair, you have to make a conclusion on the former point of order first. Is it sustained or denied?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear a point of order. I didn't understand, so I deny it. Councilmember Shepherd, you're raising a point of order?
Yes, I think that the only way that we would be able to issue a bond in the future is if we pass this agenda bill tonight.
Sorry, Councilmember Shepherd, did you have a point of order?
You've
not stated a point of order. You stated an argument.
Well, the point is that it is directly linked to what we're considering tonight. So it should be discussed.
It is not, sorry, I'm override that. There is nothing in tonight's proposed action regarding issuance of a bond. So that is not germane to the discussion that's before us tonight. Council Member Sundwall.
Yeah, I'm fully supportive of this. We have a dire need for affordable housing, not only in the county, but in our own community. And this is 10 cents for every $100 spent. And this is an amazing opportunity that we have to control the money. Our residents will be taxed likely by 1 p.m. tomorrow if we take no action. So our choice really is, do we want King County dictating where the money goes, which means it won't go here? Or do we want to have control of the money, which means it can go here? Or we could decide to put that money to Arch or what we have, so we have the flexibility to put it somewhere else. But that's why we must act before 1 p.m. tomorrow. So I'm done.
Thank you. Mayor Larson, you wish to make a comment?
Yeah, it was 2 points I think that Councilmember Jeans raised that I wanted to add additional, and Sean actually made one, which was the efficacy of grabbing the money to make sure it stays local. Is Councilmember Jeans says, well, what if the county, or even Councilmember Shepherd said they have great plans, they want to know what to do with the money. There is nothing that keeps the council from saying, hey, county, you know what? For the XYZ projects that you made a good case for, we want to give our money to you guys and partner with the county. As Councilmember Sunwall says, it gives us full control. I think the other question that Councilmember Jeans raised was about the notice. And I guess I'm very comfortable with the fact that this issue of a 1/10 of 1% possible raise in retail sales tax has already been raised to our residents by virtue of the county putting a lot of publicity on that issue of late. As you recall, as I recall, there was a front page story in the Seattle Times, or if it was not front page of the local section, and several articles regarding the executive's intent to raise this to provide housing for up to 2,000 homes. Lastly, I would just add that this gives us, I think it's a powerful tool. You know, one of the questions I think I heard, or criticisms I heard council members make was that, hey, you know, we're sitting on like $250,000 from the Cam West project over by the fire station and we haven't done anything with it. Well, that's a one-time payment. We can't build anything with these little one-time 100,000 here or 200,000 there. But when we have a source of money to the tune of $200,000 of reoccurring revenue per year, the power is we can bond against that money. You could build a $3 million project. You could put that $3 million together with the $250,000 and do something pretty exciting. I mean, we have a project right adjacent to the Koinonia where there's a large parcel of land. We could build, you know, 40, 50 units there with that kind of money, and supplement and provide money for homeless shelters and assistance as well, which would either free up money for additional human service agencies or relieve a burden from the general fund if we wanted to take down some of that cost from the human services funding now or supplement it with this. So for all those reasons, I don't think we stand to lose much. And again, to Councilmember Jean's question, folks are aware of the tax. I frankly think our residents and our voters would be appalled if they come to find out that their taxes went up and we had an opportunity to keep it local, but we decided to shrug and say, well, let's just let the county have it. That would be, I think, more outrageous.
Thank you. Councilmember Holloway.
Well, kind of as stated, this is an opportunity to give the citizens of Snoqualmie focused representation for a tax that will be imposed upon them. We may decide to do, it's infinite possibilities, except it has to go to affordable housing or mental health issues. The only requirement on the county for them to spend within cities are for cities over, I believe, 60,000, which we're not there. So more than likely this money would just offhand be gone somewhere else. My other point though, is if we feel this additional 1/10% is a bridge too far, we are in charge of the taxation for the city of Snoqualmie as separate action. You could come back and take 0.1% off our standing sales tax. I am not proposing that, but that would be the mechanism under which you go do that if you think this is wrong. Okay. But it is more importantly to give our citizens focused representation for the taxation they're getting. We did this for the transportation district. This is similar to what we did.
Yep.
If you want to do that objective, you need to vote yes tonight.
All right, council members, please help me out in the administration. If you're, please remember to take your hand down after you've spoken. If I see your hand still up, then I'm interpreting that as a wish to speak for a second time. With that, Councilmember Ross.
Okay. So as all of you know, affordable housing is part of our council goals, and it's ranked number 3. And then there's 4 other goals that are tied to it. And unfortunately, because of our decreased revenues this year and COVID, we had to remove it from our budget for the next 2 years. And so at this point, we do not have funding for any type of affordable housing plan or affordable housing. Instituting the 0.1% sales tax will allow us to move forward on the plan, and any other type of affordable housing or homeless or whatever we need to do, it provides funding. And so I am all for imposing the 0.1% sales tax. I do have a question for Mr. Sturbank that you mentioned earlier. If the county imposes a sales tax and then we do, did you state then it would be a 0.2% increase?
Within Snoqualmie, yes. Whereas if the county imposes the tax after the city, the statute specifically prescribes that the county must provide a credit for the amount of tax of the city tax.
Right, so it's even more important that if there's going to be a sales tax increase, that we impose it tonight and not impose it later. Otherwise, they'll see a 0.2% increase. So,
thank you. Councilmember Jeans.
The Community Development Committee probably has a greater sensitivity than myself and perhaps other council members with respect to how we're doing with affordable housing. Sean says there's a great need, and I'm sure Catherine says that too, but I just, in view of the fact that we are building, or we have built the Panorama Apartments, I'm not sure how that is a success story, and we've come a great deal of the way towards meeting our needs for affordable housing. Will Mark Hoffman or someone from the city, including the committee, please comment to me to help me understand that there is still a great need for affordable housing?
So Mayor Larson, I see that you have your hand up, and perhaps you could either comment on this or direct it to the appropriate staff person.
Yeah, I'm happy to concede to Mark Hoffman if he wants to jump in. I just quickly say that the the comp plan that the council approved stipulates, and Mark can confirm the number, it's like 16 or 1,800 units that are needed. If you talk to Tom Srofe by their analysis, or Rob Watton, who's worked on this issue in the Valley, and their analysis is that we need upwards of 4,000 additional units in the Valley. The Panorama project right now is an anomaly due to the COVID crisis and the fact that a lot of people are, I think, fearful of making a change as they're losing their jobs or on unemployment, or they're secured by a non-eviction protection from the governors. But if they leave, then they go in a new place that might be vulnerable. So there's that need is, I think, pretty well established. So, but let Mark Hoffman respond, please.
Mr. Hoffman, go ahead.
Thank you. We've been characterizing it as a drop in the bucket. The mixed-use final plan for Snoqualmie Ridge 2 was approved 15 years ago. Panorama and the 191 units were just recently built after all the market rate single family. So it's more of a timing issue, but those numbers are baked in. The comprehensive plan, as identified in the staff report and possibly the resolution, demonstrates the need for an estimated 1,492 units prior to 2032 in the time frame of the comprehensive plan, which is now coming up quickly, especially in the very low and low categories, below 60% of King County AMI. But anything under 80% qualifies as needed affordable housing. The only segment of the market that's being supplied or is doing well is market rate for the upper income.
Thank you. Attorney Sturbank, did you have something to add?
Well, Mr. Hoffman just stole my thunder. I was going to point to the gap in affordable units that's described in your comprehensive plan, and that is reflected in a recital at the very top of page 2 of the resolution. The 1,497 units is expected to be needed by 2032. And then one other brief comment as to the timing of bringing this to the council. You did not have authority, the Snoqualmie City Council did not have authority to impose this tax until after September 30, after which you could see whether the county had decided to impose the tax. September 30 was last Wednesday. The county had adopted or had introduced and given a first reading to its ordinance on the 29th. So at the staff level, we were waiting to determine what the county would do, and then set about trying to determine how fast the county might move. I think we got an answer back that a staff report might be ready by Friday. Wasn't even up as to today, and yet we could see the item reflected on the tomorrow agenda for the committee of the whole. So there was not, it's a very brief window that you have to consider this in, and we brought it to you as soon as we feasibly could.
Thank you. Councilmember Jeans, does that answer your question?
It does, and then let me just make another point. I mean, depending upon how we vote, if we do pass it, I hope that we will immediately communicate with the public that we had an emergency need to act promptly in advance of the county acting, and that the matter of not communicating with the public was just the circumstance that we were shackled with, and we were elected to take action when action is appropriate. That's good.
Great, thank you very much. Councilmember Shepherd.
Yeah, so a track record for the city of Snoqualmie regarding affordable housing has not been perfect. And so I am concerned that we don't know how well we're going to be doing with Panorama. I understand there's a number of available units that have not been rented yet. And I know that the last small bit of money that we've gotten from taking back taxes for affordable housing is sitting there. We're not sure what we're going to do with it yet. And I haven't heard anything in terms of a business model that will reassure that we will have affordable housing that will be maintained as affordable. I don't think our city has the skills and the resources to do a good job at affordable housing. And I don't see the appetite by council to really have a really hard discussion about maintaining affordability. I am hearing from residents that they're looking at the rental rates for a Panorama And they're finding that those rates do not seem to be affordable by most people. And the county has the ability to spend money where it will do the most good. And if that is, even if that is not in Snoqualmie, maybe the bigger population centers and the more money than we do will do a better job. I really feel that we need to make sure that this money goes where it will be the best, used the best. And if it's not in the city of Snoqualmie, then the most important thing is to get that money to the people who need it the most, and for the agencies that can follow up on it and can check to see if they've run inspection programs and make sure that there's maintaining the tenants that deserve to have that housing. We do have a desperate need in our area for affordable housing. And I think that we need the staffing and the experience behind that staffing to do a good job. And I don't see that here in Snoqualmie.
Council Member Holloway.
So I guess two things. One, I will remind council, you guys, we collectively determine the future. I'm not going to question the unknown future of this, but it does give us the opportunity to determine where the best benefit for the buck is for this money with us, with the county, with the state, with Timbuktu. Our decision in the future to make that. Second one, I guess I have a question for Bob Sturbank in regards to the tax credit. How does that work? Is that a tax credit on the overall tax rate collected or a tax credit to the city?
It's not clear, but I believe that it is a credit on the rate collected.
On the rate. So it would actually go back to the individual taxpayers paying the sales tax, in essence.
In essence.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Larson.
Yeah, I just want to make a point that I would think it unfortunate if any council members or members of the public feel that Snoqualmie's dropped the ball on affordable housing. I've been to numerous affordable housing forums and discussions in the region over the last 15 years. And I can tell you, with all the talk trying to solve this difficult problem, there are a few communities that have delivered more affordable housing units as a proportion of our overall population, as much as Snoqualmie has. We really have a lot to be proud about. Now, with that said, if we know that what we have done is a drop in the bucket, it is wholly inadequate, that says more about the failure region-wide than about Snoqualmie. But again, I think this is an exciting opportunity for us to have resources to finally turn the tables on that. But again, it would be unfortunate if we feel we've done poorly. On the management question, yeah, we had some stumbles in the first phase of Snoqualmie Ridge, as Councilmember Jeans and Holloway are probably familiar with. In fact, the mixed-use final plan for the first phase of Snoqualmie Ridge was revised in its latter half to partner with the Habitat for Humanity to do the Koinonia project. That was one of the largest habitat projects west of the Mississippi at the time it was built. And they're a great partner that does a good job managing and ensuring those units stay in affordable housing. The Panorama developer is going to have to, the federal government will be managing and overseeing compliance with that project because of their federal grants connected with that. So again, the city doesn't have to, and there's ways that we can implement those programs in our community without directly managing them ourselves.
Councilmember Lissay.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We had a very good discussion at the CDC today, I think, really talking about the opportunities. And what I want to focus on in my comments are that we have a unique opportunity to obtain the access to a tax revenue that we wouldn't have had would the council have acted within the timeline that they were mandated by the state. The tax was coming regardless, and by the county council action will happen. We have this unique opportunity to now take that revenue and apply it where we want to. That may be that we will partner with the county on the plans that they have. That may be we might have some special influence now that we have some of those revenues to influence the county to also bring revenue to Snoqualmie to build a housing project in Snoqualmie. We also have the ability then to partner with a professional organization. Councilmember Shepherd has been vocal in promoting ARCH. That opportunity may also bring additional funds to supplement the tax dollars that we are acting on tonight to even grow a greater need, because as with any other city, they all have issues with the available housing for the folks that need it at an affordable level. All those things being considered, and as you know, my day job being an architect who works with affordable housing and developers who do affordable housing, this is going to bring a number of folks out of the weeds, because there's very few opportunities where cities have revenue available to attract developers that will put their own funds in as well, should that opportunity come along. I do not see any downside to enacting this 0.1%. Our citizens were going to be taxed the additional 0.1% regardless. Now we have the opportunity to use that in the right way and have a say in where that money goes. So I wholeheartedly encourage my fellow council members to vote yes on this resolution.
Thank you, Councilmember Lassay. Councilmember Sundwall?
I see no more hands, and I think people have had to comment multiple times, so I'm going to call the question.
Second. Second.
We have a motion and a second to call the question. Hold on a moment, please. This motion is not debatable, requires 2/3 to pass. So all those in favor of calling the question, please so indicate.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, the no opposition, the
Point of order, Chair. You had one nay, which was Peggy.
I did not hear, so I will do a roll call vote.
She was on mute, but I read
roll
lips.
call vote.
Councilmember James,
Yes.
Councilmember Ross,
Yes.
Councilmember Holloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Mayhew,
Yes.
Councilmember Lassay,
Yes.
Councilmember Sundwall,
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd.
No.
With that vote, the motion passes. The question is called. We will now move to a vote on the main motion, which is the resolution imposing the sales tax. All those in favor, please so indicate.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
No.
The motion passes 6-1. There being no further business to come before the council, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second. Third.
I've heard the motion in a second. All those in favor, please so indicate.
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.